Michigan, where are you at? Now, if you saw this video, I want to hear where you're from and what you do, what you want to do. This is going to be, obviously, if you've been a subscriber for a while, you know what I do on Wednesdays. Let's do a quick audio check real quick to make sure that I have a new mic in my phone to make sure that it's sounding fine. So I'm going to do it. You're going to hear a little bit of feedback. Don't worry, it's no big deal. I want to make sure it's not so staticky like it was before. Because if you remember last time, it was extremely staticky. I didn't like it. So who's all in the chat right now? We've got about 10 people, 13 people. Early birds. Maybe they're part of the notification squad. If you're not notified of new videos, you hit the little bell down below on that side, I think. And you'll see me when I'm live. We've got Dana, Ike, Brian, all here. How are you doing? How are you doing? So if you saw my video yesterday, it was what I sold on eBay over the weekend. Well, I guess it was technically since Thursday. I'm finally back up to, where I was, years ago. Years ago. Is it playing for you? Because I can't actually get a playback. I don't know. Well, whatever it is, let me know if I sound fine. And does it sound staticky and distorted? Is it much clearer than previous live streams? That's what I'm asking, because I have my microphone set up and it should be fine. The issue is my front cam mic was not very good. Drinking this nice Mountain Dew, zero sugar, major melon, my caffeine for the afternoon. Sponsored. So, Brian, Ike, Aunt Gales. We got Flip the World in the house. Ralph Wiggum in the 510. What is 510? Where's that area code? Houston? I have no idea. It is California, the cities of Alameda, Albany, Berkeley, Emeryville, Fremont. It's in California, so that's where they're at. Yeah, the major melon is delicious stuff. So I want to talk about just answer your questions, really. What you have about any side hustle, side income, passive income, active income. I know that's like a dirty word in 2021. The idea you actually have to be, providing value to make money. How crazy is that? But if you really look at most of the side income or passive income revenue models, they're not really passive. They say they are, and I'll say they are because that's what YouTube likes. And so, but really, you and I both know that you have to put a little bit of work in. So what I've been doing is today I've got just eBay listing. Really is all I have to do. I wanted to go live for an hour, talk to you guys, answer your questions about anything you have making money related, because certainly it can be kind of boring. Boring here in the warehouse all alone. Ike says, still trying to sell Taco Bell packets for dollars. No, that video was more just showing people that, hey, you can make money in strange and interesting ways. And I bet if I go on eBay right now, there are still people selling various restaurant hot sauce packets. Fast food hot sauce packet. Every few months that gets picked up by some news source. Like, oh, people are selling Taco Bell sauce packets. Let's see, we've got today. Did any sell? We'll say, did any sell over the past week or so? Yeah, it looks like someone sold some taco butt burning hot sauce packets. The thing about the Taco Bell hot sauce packets is they have little words on them, so they still are selling. We got McDonald's Mighty Hot Sauce. Someone sold about 2 dozen of those, looks like. So yeah, I'm not the one doing it, but someone's doing it. Let's see. I'm listing myself right now. It says Dana uploaded a video for my May sales and have 15 drafts completed. Good job, Dana. Brian says, I saved handfuls of Diablo sauces for a while and just ended up using them in a homemade chili. Well, that works as long as you're getting value out of them, right? Because otherwise you would have to buy that hot sauce. So you maybe saved $2, right? I'm not sure. I guess hot sauce probably costs between $2 if you're getting the cheap stuff to up to $6. Oh boy. So I think what I'm going to be doing more on the channel, I think I want to start doing more like consistent shows, if that makes sense. So every week I'll do a what sold on eBay, and I think I want to do a dollar store arbitrage series. I'm going to do just like 6 episodes, see how it is, but they're all going to be formatted the same, going to a Dollar Tree or a Family Dollar or whatever it is, and seeing the retail arbitrage opportunities, because it seems like a lot of people right now, I read that in the news that some people who are being forced with the decision to go back to work. They've been working from home for a year and a half now. They're quitting their jobs. People are quitting their jobs because they don't want to go back to work, and I don't know their life. I can't blame them, I guess, but it just seems like if that's a trend, then we're going to see more and more folks who are interested in ways of making money on their own terms. Flip the World says week 2 of no processed carbs, and the transmission went out on Stacy's car yesterday, so a massive hustle to get it fixed. Yeah, that's no cheap fix. It is no cheap fix. It might be fun to see if you could flip these from gas stations, because that is the last place some would think to source. What I would do at gas stations if I did is I'd be searching out discontinued flips. That'd be a great excuse to go up north. The further, north in Michigan, the more rural areas you go to, the more likely you're going to find discontinued, out of production products. And those sell pretty good. You guys hear that beeping noise? One of these days, someone's going to back up into the side of my building. I can just tell. Flip the World says Depop was purchased by Etsy today. I saw that for like $1.2 billion. For Gen Z buyers. That's what I thought the whole reason was they bought it, was to get that newer buying pool of customers. Latasha English says, how do you find customers? So it depends what you're talking about. So for reselling things on Amazon, eBay, Etsy, Depop, Mercari, the customers find you. It's a great system. That's what your fee goes to. When you pay that 12% process or eBay fee, or that 15% Amazon fee, or that 10% Mercari fee, what you're paying for is to use their world, to set up shop in their mall, and they drive the traffic for you. So you're not focusing on getting customers, you're focusing on getting good products. Now, if you're talking about doing something a bit more, in my opinion, not as good, like private labeling, let's say you want to private label, what's an example? Knives or wigs or bookmarks or something like that, where you are trying to bring new customers to your product because you don't want to compete against all the other sellers on an existing marketplace. That gets a bit more tricky, and you're probably going to be limited to like three main ways. The first way being paid search. I do not recommend that for beginners. Paid search is great to scale up once you're, making money, and you can lose a little bit of money to figure out what you need to, how you need to confine your parameters. Social media, which is probably less and less easy as every platform goes on and everyone's attention span gets shorter and shorter. And organic search. And my specialty when I've done private label stuff for my own businesses where I sold bundles of products or whatever was organic search. And so that's basically just built on the idea that you're going to have a lot of content on your website, and a lot of people are going to link to that content. And the easiest way to get links is by offering reviews of your product for free. You say, hey, you want to review my product? Here, I'll send it to you. They do a review. They link back to your website, and it's simple, but it works. AR or ALR says, I've been reselling for the past 2 months on eBay and haven't decided if I offer free shipping or have the buyer pay shipping. Initially, I thought it might bring more buyers. Suggestions? So definitely, you're going to show up better in certain search results if you offer free shipping, especially if you offer the kind of options and everything that gets you, what's it called? Whatever, first class buyer, top rated seller, whatever eBay has for their, you're doing good. I think it's like 1 day handling, free shipping, and returns up to 90 days or 30 days. I don't know the exact specifications or specifics of it, but if you're doing that, then free shipping will help you sell more. What I do is if I know it's going to sell, or I'm sorry, if I know it's going to ship at a relatively fixed rate. So either a flat rate padded mailer, for example, or maybe a very small cubic priority rate shipment. So like I sold a Leapfrog that was like 6x7x4, which is going to ship for no more than $10 if it goes to like Alaska, I think. Maybe more than that. But like in the continental U.S., the contiguous U.S., going to be cheap. I'll offer free shipping on that, on books for media mail, on anything first class mail, on sports cards definitely, where I can ship them in a standard envelope. But if it's a larger item where there might be a $25 variance or spread in the cost to ship it between a state away and across the country, then I do not offer free shipping because you can just get burned on that. And so I think you're not necessarily trying to you don't want to lose money just to sell a product, right? It doesn't make any sense. And so you're going to want to, what I would say is on the light stuff, offer free shipping. On the heavy stuff and the bulky stuff, offer calculated shipping. It's called Top Rated Plus, says Flip the World. That's what it's called. They've gone through so many iterations of like what, there used to be something else too, I forget. But it's, eBay's always changing and trying to create new incentives, I guess, to be a top-rated seller, whatever you call it. Are there any items that you don't mind shipping without bubble wrap or void fill? Books. I ship sports cards just in an envelope. I would ship video games, just in a poly mailer. Clothing goes only poly mailer. Probably shoes only poly mailer. Chris says, do Dollar Tree items sell well on eBay from your experience? Yes, they do sell well. What you can't do, what you don't want to do, is just watch a bunch of videos and copy what they are buying. Because most likely, if they're popular videos, those markets have already been exhausted. What you do want to do is find your own niches. So what I think is a great niche, and I'll just say one right now, is eyeglass repair kits. You can buy them for $1. You can sell them for $5.95 or $6.75. Make a few bucks on the side. And this is not going to sustain your lifestyle, but it is going to show you how easy it is to create replenishable listings. Brian says, yeah, I would like to try out shoes one day. Try it today, man. There's no better time than right now to start. No reason not to. There's also no reason not to give the video a big thumbs up. Helps out a lot. We have 35 folks here, 36, and 11 thumbs up. So if you are in the Facebook group, if you're not in the Facebook group, join there. There's a link below. It's WBK Ultra Group on Facebook, and I'd say it's pretty good. Pretty good stuff. I try my best to make sure that all of the stupid posts are out of there, and it's only helpful. Let's see. Michelle says, organization seems a big market, and people are looking for specific colors for their aesthetic, says Michelle. Certainly, yeah. If you can find a set of organizational tools in the same color, that is worth a premium. Christian Paris says, does something change on eBay besides the payment method? I don't know what you mean by that something. Lots of things change. eBay's changing all the time. If you're talking about managed payments, I think for most people, they're on managed payments by now. I'm sure there are some holdouts, but I don't think you can list any new things if you're not on managed payments. Good stuff. Good stuff. So what I've also been doing, besides I'm listing on eBay. I'm getting back into FBA, but for FBA, it's so difficult with their recent inventory restrictions. I mean, so many big sellers have. I know one guy who went from 20,000 down to 4,000. I went from 10,000 to 2,000. They really are restricting a lot the amount you can send in. And so people are having to adjust either more merchant fulfilled or more eBay or more, Facebook Marketplace or Mercari or Etsy or wherever because the days when you could just load up Amazon FBA fulfillment centers full of your warehouse and just, price everything high and let the numbers take care of themselves is gone. Is gone. Or at least they're temporarily gone. Maybe they're going to come back. I would be amazed. I'd be amazed if Amazon increases their inventory limits again, to make them unlimited or whatever. Just because I wonder what it's Q3 right now, right? Q3 starts January or June 1st. When does July 1st? It isn't Q3 yet. So I think Amazon is updating their IPI scores quarterly, or else it's every trailing 6 weeks. Let me see if I'm any better, because I might be. Who knows? God, they've made so many changes to the back end over the past year. I can't even find my inventory number. Here we go. Restock limits. No, I'm still at 1,000. That's crazy. I can't believe that. I can't believe how little inventory they let me have after, selling so many thousands and thousands of things. But that just proves to you that you can't be reliant upon any individual platform. That's why my businesses are diversified. I do local auction stuff. I've been getting more into content. I do eBay and Amazon. I probably should do more stuff that isn't resale related. That's why I want to do more specific shows on YouTube. I'm calling it a show just because I was on that one show on A&E, and the way they formatted it makes a lot of sense to me. So we've got Andy, Brian, and Rusty Shackleford. Rusty says, can you sell on Amazon without doing FBA? Yes, you can. It's called Merchant Fulfilled, or MF. It's where it's the same as on eBay or wherever, where you just ship the item out of your house, or your warehouse, or your garage, or wherever you are. You can just ship it out and they get it. The customer does, and you can buy postage through Amazon. A little tip here: if you are doing that, make sure you buy it on Amazon, because that's the only way you're going to be protected against certain kinds of claims. They really don't tell you when they'll up your Amazon inventory limits at all. It's crazy. Michelle says, I know that a sellerist started listing on Amazon and eBay, but is there a program that lists MF for Amazon, eBay, Etsy, Shopify, or your own sales platform and keeps inventory up to date? No, there is not. Currently, you have to cross-post to use all of those. Amazon is making me change stuff to FBM. Besides eBay and Mercari and other marketplaces on the rising, Walmart Plus is too picky. Walmart Plus, I don't sell on Walmart. I hear you get a lot of returns, and a lot of refunds that you aren't necessarily verifying or allowing. That's just the way that they do their customer service. The customer is always right. And if you've been to a Walmart, you know those people are not always right. They're most often wrong. But they get their money back anyways, and it's your money, so do what you want. Do what you want. So what other questions do you guys have? What are you up to today? What trends are you noticing? So with sports cards, part of me thinks the sports cards market may have peaked when stores like Target or Meijer in my area pulled cards off the shelf, inventory off the shelf. I think that may have been like a shock to the system. That paired with summer, paired with people going back to work, etc., etc. And the reason I think this is because I'm seeing things not sell. Like Topps Heritage, a low-end baseball product, is not really selling that well. You could buy it right now on Walmart if you wanted to. Score 2021 NFL hobby boxes are selling below MSRP, or the retail price, on eBay. And they've only been out for like a month, maybe a month and a half. Is this just a little blip, or are people kind of getting fed up with it or moving on to other things? Maybe the retail arbitrage minded of us are finding better flips, like, pools. Above ground pools are still selling at a 500% premium on Amazon, or eBay, I mean, and Amazon too, I assume. Although certainly I wouldn't be caught dead trying to sell Intex on Amazon. That seems like a great way to get your account banned, or at least suspended at the very least. Christians, that's the same thing I just read. There's not a whole lot of big changes right now, but I think everyone's kind of just biding their time and seeing what's going to occur. How is the stock market going to change? How are people going to be back at work, working jobs, 9 to 5s? Are we going to be, kind of in this recession atmosphere for the next year or two? Certainly higher end investors are asking those questions, and those are the guys who I think dictate the market. At least they dictate how much, on the lower end, mid end, I guess. Because I feel like the low end stuff is always going to be selling at a bit of a premium because people want to get into it. They're, interested in it. We got Katie Reeds here and Dana Invests, and Andy Somerville saying, Dana says, everyone pulled cash out to run up the AMC stock. It's at $52 right now. I sold 100 shares last week for double at 27. I wonder what the market cap is. I wonder, actually how much money has been put into that in terms of, money, in the entire economy. Been using Mercari so far, and I'm just not selling volume I'm hoping for. I lowered my prices and added free shipping where I could. So you might want to consider cross-posting on eBay and Facebook Marketplace. I'm selling what people seem to buy in there, but I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong. Should I try to get into Amazon? Yeah, I think Amazon's a great place to expand. So is eBay. Mercari is fundamentally an app, a marketplace that is time sensitive. It's chronologically fed. So the newer stuff, the newer promoted stuff, is what's going to sell more than the cheaper stuff. So I would say delete the listings and repost them at a higher price that gives you more leeway to promote maybe 4 or 5 times. And just keep doing that if you want to stay on Mercari. If you don't want to stay on Mercari, you can go over to eBay, you can go over to Amazon, Facebook Marketplace, anywhere like that, and use those marketplaces as well. But it also depends what you want to do. Dana says AMC market cap now is $25 billion. What was it when it was lower? I'm curious. Do they, can you go back in time and see? Rusty says, if the dollar completely tanks, what do you think will happen in the reselling world? I do not think the dollar will tank. There are too many other currencies that trade, are dependent upon the dollar. And there are and you could say, oh, well, what if China tanks our currency? They own all of our debt. So that'd be pretty dumb on their end. Andy says, thanks. I am thinking I may expand into Amazon. You definitely should, sooner than later. It's only going to get harder and harder to become an Amazon third-party seller. Maybe custom Dogecoin-related merchandise would do well, shirts, mouse pads, etc. I don't think so. I think by the time that you get that stuff produced at any level of high quality, I guess you could do a Teespring print-on-demand store. But that's just chasing a quick buck. That isn't really a sustainable way to make money, I don't think. Because I bet in a year, Dogecoin is not going to be a thing that we talk about with anything but nostalgia. It was kind of just right place, right time, There are enough other compelling memes that people will latch on to that why would they focus on Doge? Let's see. That was the same question I just asked. I'm getting a weird delay on the on my phone versus the pop-out chat. So what else was I doing? I've been experimenting with auctions of junk lot boxes, of wholesale reseller boxes on eBay. Those have been okay. I think that less people are interested in resale over the summer months. That's a trend that I've seen just being a content creator over the past few years, is that if you're someone like myself whose content is mostly based around just providing advice or showing tips and tricks, there are just fewer people who are interested in doing that. And so I think that we're seeing things like anything resale oriented is becoming less popular. Now, how does that affect markets like Pokemon cards or above ground pools? I think you're still going to have people hustling who try and get those. But like today, I walked into a Target and I saw Pokemon cards on the shelf. It was interesting because most of the Targets I go to have their signs up that say, "Due to an abundance of caution, we're no longer selling them on the shelves." And this specific Target used to have that sign, but they took that sign down, and now they're back up to their Pokemon 2-a-day sign. I got a tin of hockey cards right here. These are all the good ones I pulled out of there. Upper Deck Series 2, a tin. But it's, they were there. Resell Dojo says, gotta jump on the garage sales video game. Yeah, people love garage sale videos, but I don't like taking my GoPro on someone else's property and filming their property. I also the garage sales around here are not very good. It's all like, grandmas with like their Avon collections that they think are worth like $15. Or the worst thing is when you have like a garage sale person who prints off like the eBay prices. Not even the sold listings, eBay active listings. Do you recommend shipping international or no? I do eBay global shipping for that. I don't want to do it myself. The main reason people want you to do it yourself, customers that is because they want to avoid paying duty or customs or whatever. Lots of new sellers start off during Q4. When things start to slow down, many of them get frustrated and drop out of selling, says Don Waters. That makes sense, yeah. I've been seeing a lot of like large lots on auction of sports cards or other, just like collectible stuff that was really popular on eBay right now. Do you still suggest books as a good starter item on Amazon? Absolutely. Books, there's going to I don't know what Amazon would have to do to make that not a good place to start, because your returns are going to be low, your cost of goods is going to be low, and it's so easy to see what sells. As long as you stay below 1 million sales rank, and that's, obviously, if you're a more experienced seller, you can go up to like 2.5 million if you know the ropes. But as a beginner, 1 million sales rank is going to sell, and that might seem high, like a high number, but it really, you think about how many books sell a day on Amazon, it isn't that high. Let's see. We had another question. We have a guy who has a huge antique shop, and he will pick up yard leftovers for free and sells them. He's expanded his shop 2 times now. Yeah, sometimes people just want to buy something, so they'll go into a shop, and it doesn't matter if it's all junk, they'll still buy stuff. I think we see that on eBay too. The stores that have 15,000 listings, they're selling stuff every day because I am assuming someone goes to their store and scrolls through. I'm sure there's other ways of describing that or explaining why that occurs, but it's pretty reliable, right? Pretty likely. So we have 62 people in the chat and 33 thumbs up. Let's get this higher. Let's get above 40 thumbs up. And I think what I want to do, I might do a reseller box giveaway. I'll value a reseller box at like $250 or whatever. And I think I want to do a giveaway to grow my Instagram because I'm at 9,900 followers. So very close to 10,000. That's a big benchmark on Instagram. Allows you to do the swipe up, and all that good stuff that you're supposed to have if you're a social media content creator like myself. Tyler says, thank you for your advice. Tyler, you are welcome. How's the stock market doing right now? AMC excluded. Let me see how my stocks, I think I own like 8 shares. I probably will sell AMC. I own like 8 shares of AMC. I bought it at $5 forever ago, and I just bought it because it's going to go up no matter what. So I probably should sell those right now because I don't think that it's going to be, who knows? Maybe it will. I don't know. But personally, I'm going to sell my AMC. Carter says, just hit the thumbs up. Thanks for the knowledge. You're welcome, Carter. Thank you for the thumbs up. It is appreciated. We're just about to the half-hour mark. I'm curious, what gotta get in the TikTok game? 93 followers. Yeah, I know. I made a few TikToks. I didn't get any traction, and I was spending too much time doing it. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'll do tomorrow. I'm thinking about filming either one or a few Dollar Tree, Dollar Store, retail arbitrage videos, and I'm gonna double dip that content with TikToks. I think. I'm really trying to systematize and format my content creation better, because it's just, I don't know. I make so much more money when I list all day, as opposed to trying to make content. Michelle says it's smart. I would love to have a used bookstore in the area. I figure it would do good on rainy tourist days. Oh yeah, definitely. Have you ever seen The Big Short? I have seen The Big Short. Good movie. It's got Christian Bale in it. It's about the subprime mortgage crisis of 2006 to 8, right? Is that when it occurred? Right when I was graduating high school. I guess just before I graduated high school. Big Lots has DVDs too, but not as cheap as the Dollar Tree. No, the Dollar Tree has amazing deals on that kind of stuff. I don't know how they. I mean, I do know how they do it. They buy in bulk and they don't, sell individual SKUs. But it's really a great business model they have. Blake, you need a part-time lister. I do need a part-time lister, but it's hard to find good help. Most people are very lazy, and I don't. The whole reason I'm self-employed is because I don't like being around people that I don't like. TikTok, if you go viral, it goes crazy. If you get up to QK, you can go live, or maybe 10K, and get those points like Super Chat on YouTube. Yeah, it's just a matter of finding the time to do it while I still run my business. And I can't sacrifice anything more than like maybe one day a week to make content. So 1,000 followers, you get live stream. That seems pretty low. Invest in water. I'm here in Michigan. Best place to invest in water, I think. Just got rid of the non-profitable books. Buying at a thrift store, never again. Yeah, it's kind of tough to get rid of books because paper recyclers stop buying them. But as long as your acquisition, if you're buying pallets of books for like, a nickel or less a book, you're probably going to be okay in terms of profit. I would list for you, but I don't think I live close enough in West Michigan here. Yeah, I'm in southeastern Michigan, but it's just maybe one day I'll have a streamlined enough process to have that. We got Michael in Concord, New Hampshire. Live free or die. Thumbs up. Well, yeah, everyone, quick, where you at? Give me a shout out where you're from. If you want to tell me your eBay store's name, I would love to see that too. What I would like to do is begin doing some like eBay store critiques or reviews or audits to give a bit more eBay advice, because as I sell more and more stuff, I'm learning more and more tips and tricks, not only about eBay, but also about Amazon, places like that. I'm also tempted to open up my own e-commerce store for only for jewelry. Because that's what I think would be a good. That's the kind of niche that I would think would be good to pursue. Because I buy a lot of jewelry, and it's really just a numbers game. It's an expensive game to get into because you're gonna have to drop like probably $10,000 to have enough to like sustain yourself for that first few months. But it's a good business, I think. We've got Frank in Georgia, Hunter in Mississippi, Sunflower in Kansas, Christian in Cypress, Texas, Sue in Northern Virginia, Don, small town, southeast Georgia. You in Brunswick? Is that where you are? Kamar America's in Houston. We got Katie Reed's in southeastern Michigan. Michelle, as long as YouTube can get the foot traffic, then you're golden on the e-commerce store. That's what I would do. I would create my own. Well, I already have a channel for it where I would do like a video of the. What I can't tell is, should I do jewelry unboxings, or jewelry individual ring videos for like a minute long or whatever. But yeah, Rusty says, is costume jewelry worth reselling? So not all of it. Probably, someone in the chat sells costume jewelry, and they said that about, 10% is what sells. And you have to have an eye for it. You have to know the brands, that kind of stuff. We've got Lost Planet in Portage by Kalamazoo, Michigan. Yvette in Iowa. 3 million people and 30 million hogs. Sylvania, about an hour south, or about an hour from Savannah. Nita in Lake Jackson, Texas here. Edmund, I've used your advice on DVD VCR combos. They've been a smash hit for me. Thank you. In Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Man, I haven't seen a DVD VCR combo at a thrift store. Maybe I see about 2 or 3 a week. It used to be those were a gold mine. I'd find 10 a day. But it's harder and harder to find good stuff at thrift stores. And I don't know if that's because there are more folks doing this, or because there are a few people working at thrift stores, and so they're having a hard time processing. I don't know. We've got Rusty in Roll Tide County, meaning Alabama, right? Alabama. That's the Crimson Tide. But I suppose you could even go as far to say is that maybe other parts, maybe the Panhandle of Florida, could also be considered Roll Tide country. Is Pensacola? Do they root for FSU or do they root for Alabama? I'm sure it's pretty mixed. David A. Proctor in northwestern Florida. Speak of the devil. Michelle says, or the thrift stores themselves are selling. I have not seen Salvation Army selling electronics. I have not seen that. Excuse me. I think that it's still a bit too complex for them. They can't just take a picture and list because they can break so often. I get DVD VCRs at estate sales, and they almost always work and are cheap. Yeah, garage sales have been my best bet for electronics recently. The issue, though, is you got to get up early on Saturdays for garage sales, and I don't like to do that. Could you be my mentor, says I, Kamar America. What is this right here, man? This right here is mentorship. You have to use these weekly live streams I do to ask as many questions as you can, because this is as far as I know, one of the only free Q&A things that you're going to have every week with someone who's, been doing this for a decade almost. This is what it is. I'm thinking about launching, and let me know if you would be intrigued by this, a membership on the YouTube channel. Where like for $10 a month, we'll do like 1 or 2 live streams only for members for an hour or 2. Where you really have the time to like talk back and like really have a conversation. I thought about doing one-on-one Zoom calls like once a month. I'm not sure if there's a market for that. I don't know how many of you would be interested for like $200 a month to have like one-on-one mentorship where it's like a Zoom call and then some sort of accountability worksheets. I'd have to price it that high just because I can't do it for free if I'm doing this. But then the issue is will the people who want that, can they afford $200 a month? Because that's kind of what I have to do it at to justify, all the mental energy that goes into it. JD says, hey, from Fort Lauderdale, I usually buy costume jewelry and other types of jewelry from Goodwill.com and resell on Etsy. I lost my job 4 months ago, says I, Kamar, don't want to work under anyone. I will work for myself. Well, that's the dream, right? Interested in the membership idea, says Andy. Yeah, there would be 2 tiers. One would be, actually, so the 2 tiers are $5 a month and $30 a month. So it wouldn't be $10 a month. The $5 a month would be, you get like emojis. And the $30 a month is a group only live stream. These streams are great. I don't have my card connected with YouTube, but I'd gladly buy from your store if you have a link to it. I haven't done that in the past because I was worried about people buying stuff and getting bad feedback, but eBay's gotten so good about removing bad feedback, and there are so many people who have eBay stores who link to it on YouTube that I think I might start doing that. Just because, why not, right? If I've got over 1,000 items up, I think that there might be a way for you guys to learn from that. All right, we have 53 likes and 50 people in the chat. So we've actually got more likes than people watching, which is a rarity. I'm not sure if it's good or bad. Probably bad. Let's see. I buy from garage sales. What is the best way to resell? Any info is appreciated. I think eBay is the best because you're going to have the largest ability to sell any item you want. Amazon is great too. I used to prefer Amazon over eBay, but the Amazon FBA changes have made it a bit more tricky. The honest answer is one of those two, Amazon or eBay, is going to be best for you. It depends on the items you're sourcing. So if you're finding like t-shirts and like shoes, eBay. If you're finding electronics and video games, I would tend to say Amazon. Free advertisement would be great. Yeah, free advertisement definitely on YouTube. What is Amazon FBA? Amazon FBA is where you ship the items to an Amazon fulfillment center, they store them, and then they ship it out to the customer. So if you've ever bought anything from a third-party seller on Amazon Prime, that is Amazon FBA. Is that a Sparty green hat you have on? No, this is a tour company from Hawaii that I when I was in Hawaii a few years ago, I met that guy and he gave me a free hat. Facebook Marketplace and eBay all day, says Michael. You fuck with stocks, says Emil. I just mostly buy and hold stocks. I'm not like a day trader. When things are going crazy, I try to capitalize on that. But for the most part, I just buy and hold. And I'll retire when I'm 50 years old or whatever. Hey, how you been? Says NYC Life. I've been good, man. Just working. When did you start your own business? I've been making money on my, since I was a little kid, since I was 6 years old. I've definitely made more money, started making money, made more money totally, enjoy making money on my own more than I ever have from a job. So, to say when did I start? When I was 6, I guess that's when I started. When did I start doing this, to make enough money to pay rent? When I was, 20, 22 years old, 21 years old. That's what it would be, I guess. I just got 2 negative feedback on eBay for not combining shipping. The buyer put a negative review on both items he purchased. What do you recommend? You should have shipped them together. That's what I recommend doing. Did the buyer request to have the invoice consolidated? If they didn't, then I would go to eBay's Facebook page and tell them what happened. If they did, then that's kind of bad customer service. So I think you might deserve those negative feedbacks, unfortunately. You can always, talk to eBay and get them, oh, you did ship them together. No request was made by the buyer to combine. So you charged them for 2 shipments, but you shipped them together? Yeah, I bet the buyer feels ripped off. You should have refunded them for the additional shipping. I would go to eBay and talk to eBay. I use Facebook, their Facebook page, just because I've had the best luck getting feedback removed. I have never actually had to have feedback removed. I have the best luck with issues with customers, talking through Facebook. Let's see. Chris with Daily Refinement and Tech and Sports are doing the membership with Zoom one-on-one. Yeah, Chris approached me a few weeks ago about doing that. But I guess I didn't make the cut. And he chose to go with Tech and Sports. I think it's a necessary way, especially with how many people are on YouTube making content that's not necessarily detail intensive, I would say. It's becoming more and more necessary if you want to be someone like me who devotes, 10 hours a week or whatever, or however many hours a week to making content. May contact you about affordable shipping information. Ask him in the chat. Do not email me. I get too many emails. I have a hard time answering them. Ask me in the chat. This is the time to ask questions. This is the time that is given to you for free. Links off the cuff says, I will refund, then what? Back to the buyer. So before you refund, I would go to eBay first and see if they'll take it away without you having to issue a refund. Then if they don't issue a refund, then I would say back to the customer and I would apologize. because I think they're mad about the principle of what happened. They're mad in principle. Once you get used to Facebook Marketplace and all the flaws, the rewards are spectacular, says Michael P. It's only getting better. Ship on Marketplace, join buy sell groups across the country, list to them too. It's like $2 over because they're both under an item. It's not really a lot of money at all. It says links off the cuff. Yeah, it's it's because they feel that you ripped them off. It's the principle. It's not the actual money. Rocky Mountain Resell says, LMAO, do not contact me. It's because I get so many emails from people who could be asking questions in the chat. I don't understand why you'd want to email me and not get a response, or email me 3 paragraphs and try and get it's not very it's just not I think it's not very courteous to expect someone to respond to you when they're offering this kind of platform. How do I earn as a teen to at least pay for my own expenses? What are the best ways to do it? So if you're under 18, you're going to be limited to, I think, just like Fiverr.com. If we're really a stickler for the rules. If you can use an account of your parents, you can make money on Amazon, eBay, all that stuff. If you're 18, everything's wide open. But to make enough money for your expenses, we'll figure out, firstly, how much money do you have to pay a month? And then, multiply that by 100, and then divide that by 10, and go to thrift store. So I guess multiply that by 10, and that's going to be like your budget, I would say, for for thrifting, because generally in thrift stores, you're going to be able to find like a plus, a times 10 markup on like things like books or t-shirts occasionally, video games occasionally. But the whole point I'm trying to make by saying this, and I realize I'm saying it kind of like facetiously, you can't actually plan out like buy 10 items, you'll make this much money. You have to figure out how much money you need and then work back from that way, and it's going to depend on the items that are available in your area. So let's say I had unlimited access to books and I had to make $5,000 a month. $5,000 a month is probably going to be about 10,000 sales on books. If I want to sell FBA if I want to sell books, well, shoot, this is not usable because FBA's changed. We'll say eBay. Generally, you can expect about a 1 to 2% sell-through rate on eBay if you have anything that's worthwhile. So if you have $10,000 profit listed, you're probably going to make about $100 a day, right? So you can kind of reverse that way, but it's not so guaranteed. That doesn't really make a lot of sense, I guess. But, ask me more questions, because with something so vague, it's hard to give a pointed answer. Questions in the chat may help a lot more than the asker, too. Oh, exactly true. I had a negative feedback get removed by just messaging the buyer and apologizing, giving them a refund, and letting them keep the item. The $10 loss was worth getting the feedback taken off. Do you have to go to the local post office for all eBay shipping, says Kamar America. You don't have to. If you have priority mail, at least one priority mail item, you can schedule a pickup. They come to you. You can also use UPS or FedEx. But generally, most people who resell are making, maybe 1 or 2 or 3 trips a week to the post office to drop off their items to make sure they all get scanned in a timely manner. Do you have to polybag everything you send to FBA? No, you do not. Books do not need to be polybagged. Video games don't. If you do polybag things, the rules are very strict about them. If they have larger than a 3-inch opening, maybe it's a 5-inch opening, they have to have this writing. This is a giant, enormous polybag. But they have to have, and this is what I put like a large VCR in, for example. And I do this not because I have to, but because it just looks better, and it keeps like dust and moisture off of it and crap off of it. But the bags have to have this giant suffocation hazard warning. These bags are not toys. No shit. What is the best sales rank for books? Overall, I have some in the 80,000 sales rank. So for books, it's like the New York Times best seller list, where 1 is the best, and the higher you go, the worse they are. And anything under $1 million is generally a good book to sell. Anything under $2.5 million, $3 million has the potential to be good. Once you get higher than that, it has to be a very specific circumstance where the book is worth flipping. NYC Life says, never did Amazon, but been doing eBay since the 90s and full-time for the past 10 years. I do 100K gross a month, 50K net, so good money, but it's a lot of work, 70 hours a week. Damn, that is a lot of work. New York City Life says, yeah, I just got, so sorry, this is just a silly Blake thing. Have you guys ever watched the show 90 Day Fiancé? I follow a couple from season 1, Kyle and Noon, because I like the show. And Kyle just messaged me back on Instagram because I made a funny joke. So nice. I think of all the people on reality TV, myself included. Yikes. That's terrifying to think about. Myself included as a reality TV person, he has utilized his exposure to make a lot of money. He's a real estate agent in Portland now. I've thought about doing that, about being a real estate agent. It seems like a good side hustle. It's relationship based. I love buying and selling things. I like looking at properties. It's the kind of thing that I would consider. Speaking of reality TV, are we going to see season 2 of your show? No, you're not. But that's why so what I'm doing is I want to start off my own shows on this channel. 2 shows, one around what sold, one around retail arbitrage, and potentially one around pallets, one around thrift stores. So 4 potentially, and I'm going to just try and do 6 to 10 episodes of each initially and see if people like them and slowly build up my format to make it better. Because what I've noticed about my channel is that I like being random. I like being inconsistent. It gives me flexibility. But that's bad! That's bad for YouTube. You have to be consistent. People want a consistent product. They want to feel as if they know you. Right? Do you guys feel my frustration with that? Where I'm torn between I love helping people make money. I love that. But I don't like being confined into a role. It's just come on. So I'm trying to find ways to do that. I mean, I have an account of my brother, and I know a person from whom I can buy first copy sneakers at cheap prices. Are they fake? If they're fake, don't do it. And then I can sell them for so much more. What do you think? Which platforms would be good? eBay, do they still do no fees over $100? eBay'd be good. Mercari is a great one. Facebook Marketplace is great. I think Mercari is awesome because the likelihood of being scammed is lower on Mercari, in my opinion. Shane says, are you holding AMC? Hell no! I should sell right now. I'll hold 2 shares. I'll hold 2. But I want some money. I gotta buy some more sports cards. Rusty says, what about filming yourself giving people stores a review? That'd be interesting. I think that's too niche. Maybe I could film that, and that would be the kind of thing that only members get to watch. Ooh, that'd be good. Your personality is consistent, and content not being consistent is exciting. Rocky Mountain says, Big Ed fan, LOL. I don't know how that guy has stayed in the public sphere, but he has. Justin says, hey, Blake, you sound way better today. The issue was my front mic has some water damage. So I would do all these tests on my phone with the back mic, or the back camera, totally fine. But the front mic, I have my little Rode microphone plugged in right now. I think I have another around here. I own 2 of them for no good reason. New York City Life, 1950s PSA cards, Hall of Fame players are super hot on eBay. They went up 100% over the past 6 months. I've been selling a lot of cards like this. Well, not specifically these cards. I don't have any around me right now. I don't have any listed either. But 1990s Hoops NBA, probably PSA 8 level cards for like $5. Rookies, Gary Payton, Sean Kemp, Dave Robinson, stuff like that. What I'm doing is I will, what's it called? I'll self-grade very roughly all my cards using one of these guys that just shows how centered the card is. And if I can get like well, generally the Hoops 1990-91 cards, you're going to want to be a 3.25, 3.25 on this grading scale up down. And I'd say about 1 in 100 cards maybe is like that. It's very, very low. Usually you're going to have like 1.5. I don't know if these are millimeters or what. I have no clue what this measurement is. But whatever these numbers are, they're usually going to be offset either left to right or up down, but still have great edges. And I think those typically, based on the PSA cards I've bought and examined myself, those would grade out at like an 8. 8 PSA 1990-91 NBA Hoops cards do not sell for a premium, except Michael Jordan's. But I think we might be seeing that change with the Sean Kemp rookies, with the Gary Payton rookies, with the Larry Birds. Definitely with the Larry Birds. I've seen those go up more into like the $60 range occasionally on eBay. And so that would probably place, I mean, it's kind of difficult to reverse engineer the price because PSA is not grading right now. They're only doing $300 grades. Like Express or Walkthrough is like $600. One of the two is. So it's kind of hard to say like, oh, well, PSA 8 is, $20 minus that or whatever. But I think probably we're going to see those cards creep up to like the $5 to $10 range, the base rookies, if they're in like mint or near mint condition. But I don't know. Thank you, friend. I got inspired. I know you are 70 hours a week. As long as you're not working for anybody. Loving you, my brother. I followed. Love to contact you. Let's see. I sent a shipment to FBA, Hazel Park, Michigan for the first time, and it's been sitting there delivered for 2 weeks. What can I do to get it received? You have to wait. Have you shipped there? No, I have not. It must be oversized. Is it auto stuff? I bet it's an oversized one. Because the oversized fulfillment centers, that's all manual. All people, individuals doing it, not machines. So they are just slow. People talk about transcription and all those stuff all day on YouTube. Like you can earn this much working this much time, but competition there is really high, so is it worth giving a try? I would not do transcription. I think you can only make a couple bucks an hour doing that. I guess it depends where you are located in the world. If you're in a country that doesn't, if you can't, go to a thrift store and sell on eBay, might be your best bet. But I think that, doing things like retail arbitrage, like Dollar Tree arbitrage, like going to thrift stores, I think that's a far better way of making money than working for someone else. It's not what I'd recommend. I'd recommend other avenues. I'd also recommend giving the video a thumbs up. Do it. There's 66 of us here. We have 62 thumbs up. It's a lot of work, but if you work hard daily, list daily, promote your listings right, you will do good and easily make a full-time income as long as you have about 10,000 active listings. Yeah, NYC Life, I'm curious, what is your daily sell-through rate? Are you seeing a 1% sell-through rate even with 10,000 listings? Sean says, I want to say thanks for all the help you give. You're welcome. I was laid off twice during the pandemic between you and Dante, Prison to Profit. I turned over $1,200 in profit this month on eBay. Good job, Sean. How resilient do you think eBay will be in a major market correction or another 2008 style recession? So I think the shit that I do is going to only go up. Used electronics, used things with utility, that's only going to become more and more valuable because you're going to have less people buying new. You're going to have more people looking for good deals. Things like retail arbitrage for auto parts, potentially for like replacement parts, that's going to be a stronger market in a recession. Things like $5,000 sneakers, woo! Gone. Gone. Things like the insane collectible market is going to be taking a hit for sure. I would say things like books and DVDs might go up. Superfluous things will certainly go down. Let's see. Walter, if you wanted to say take a couple weeks off or even a month off for a vacation, how do you do that if you're not able to ship products out? That's why I have things in Amazon. So like I was in Philly for about 10 days a few weeks ago, and I had my eBay store on vacation mode, so I still sold things and they just didn't ship until I got back, and I had FBA, still going as it did. So that's how you do it. You put your eBay store on vacation mode, and you put your Amazon, you inactivate all your MF listings, and you only do FBA. Dana says, I make a full-time income off 800 active listing. All depends on the price profit margin, not the quantity of listings. Dana, you're doing typically retail arbitrage stuff, though. So two very different business models. Like I know someone who makes over $1 million revenue, who only, he has like a 0.0025 sell-through rate, but he has tens of thousands of listings, and they're all high-value things. He prices very high. 4 eBay stores, 30K listings, total quantity. I ship out 1,200 packages a day with a staff of 5. Wow. That's crazy. I'm a newbie, so you need 10,000 listings to make a full-time salary. Does that mean 60K? It doesn't work like that. These are just benchmarks. I'd like this to be my full-time job eventually, wondering how long it would take. I mean, you can make $60,000 in a month on eBay. There's not like a one-for-one equation, like you put money in, take money out. So to make $60,000 a year, that's $5,000 a month. So if you're doing retail arbitrage at double your investment, that means you're spending $2,500 more than that because of fees and shipping a month. It really isn't a matter of like, oh, do this, do this, do this. It's a matter of finding things that sell and then reverse engineering how many you have to sell to do that. So like, let's do some math right now. We'll use 60 grand as like the benchmark for what you want to do. So 60K. You want to make $60,000. Is that reversing your screen or not? That means 5K a month. I wish I had my whiteboards. I think this actually does air reverse, so I'm not going to bring the whiteboard over. $5,000 a month. $5,000 a month. What is that per day? What's 5,000 divided by 30? 5,000 divided by 30, 166.66. So we'll say 167 a day. 167 profit a day. Let's say you only want to work part-time, so you only want to ship out 5 things a day. 166 divided by 5. So we're looking at 33. We'll round up to 34. You want to make $34 per item a day, or per sale 5 times a day, 7 days a week. You ship out Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and that's making you 60 grand a year. $35 profit margin. So what kind of things can you earn $35 on? This is the way we're going to do it, just to hit your arbitrary number of 60 grand. Obviously, you can do it for 100 grand, you can do it for 10 grand, whatever you want to do. So shoes, I would say, pretty reliably are going to sell for $35 profit. If your buy cost is $5-10, we'll do another card right here. So let's say your buy cost is $10 per pair of shoes. eBay fees, we'll do 12% eBay fees, and we'll say the average shipping cost is $10. So if you sell them at $60, $60 times 12 is, let's see. I'm just going to do the math. 60 times 0.88 is 52.80. So if you sell them for $60, you're already at $52.80 with fees, right? Minus $10 to ship equals let's see, $42.80 minus the buy cost. We're saying $10, hopefully lower, but we'll say $10. $32.80. So if you were to sell 5 pairs of shoes a day at $60, you bought for $10, you'd be making just under 60 grand a year. Now, in order to sell 5 pairs of shoes a day, let's say you have a 2% sell-through rate. Is that kind of low? We'll say a 2% sell-through rate, and that's just arbitrary. That really is arbitrary. Some people have 10%, like you saw Dana Invests. I'm sure she has a very high sell-through rate. You have some stores that have a way lower sell-through rate. But if you're finding things that are relatively in demand, a 2% sell-through rate is not crazy. So what number is going to hit 5 sales a day at 2%? If you have 250 shoes times 0.02, that is 5. So you want to have 250 shoes that are listed, active every single day to make that 60 grand a year. Now let's say I don't feel safe about that. I want to, factor in a 1% sell-through rate. Now at a 1% sell-through rate, you're looking at 500 active pairs of shoes every single day. If you sell 5 a day, so I guess you're listing 5, you're selling 5. Is that a guarantee? Absolutely not. Dana's a dude? Oh, sorry. I thought you were a woman. Well, Dana Invests. I apologize. All the Danas, this is going to sound dumb, but all the Danas I know, with the exception of Dana Barros, who was a point guard for the Celtics back in the 90s, are women. But no harm, no foul, right? It's not an insult. So yeah, let's say if you have 500 listings a day, and you sell 1% of those listings, you're buying them for $10, you're selling them for $60. You're not going to make 60 grand a year. You're going to make slightly less. You're going to be making $32.80. $32.80 times 5 times 365 is where are we at? 32. Let me clear this out. 32.8 times 5 equals 164 times 365 is 59,860 bucks. Pretty easy when you break it down that way. Now, that's not a guarantee. That is not by any means a guarantee, because you could have days off, you could have days you can't find shoes. There could be a lot of things can happen. There are going to be returns, refunds. There's going to be stolen inventory. You're going to have to, obviously, this is a different question. You're paying taxes on that. Your tax burden at $60K, I think, is going to be about probably $8,500. Maybe, no, more than that. It's going to be about $12,500, I think. But I don't know for sure. It depends upon how many kids you have, if you have kids, and all that. There's a whole bunch. But basically, you're going to want to be putting aside like $1,000 a month out of your profit to pay taxes to the good old government. Just so you know. I'm probably low on that, but we all love to write things off, don't we? I had a male Cabbage Patch named Dana. It was awesome. Excuse me. So usually 20% taxes, 40 back into the business, 40 profit. Make sure you save tax because you don't have a company pulling taxes for you. Yeah, I had to do that same thing. I had to write the government a big old check May 15th. I don't like it. And I'm broke right now. Am I broke? I am broke. Yes, I am broke right now until June 4th when a bunch of payments clear. So, this is always an interesting question to me. What do you think is being broke? So, in my opinion, being broke means no money in your checking account. You have your savings, but you have no money in your account for like checking, or no like spendable cash. because there's being like, and I don't want to make anybody. There's two levels, right? There's no money in your savings, and there's no money in your checking. Does anybody else watching? Do you play this game with yourself, where you keep your checking account always super super low because you don't want to spend money, because you want to save your money? Viviana says, do you still sell on Mercari? If so, what do you typically sell? I do not sell on Mercari. I have things listed. I haven't had a sale in forever. What is sell-through rate? Sell-through rate, so if you take the total number of things that sell divided by how many listings you have. So let's say I sold 5 things. Yesterday I sold 3 things. I had 450 things listed. Whoops. So 3 divided by 450 is 0.00666. So I had a 0.666. Sorry. I had a point. Yeah. Let me restart. I had a 0.0066666 answer to that equation. And because we're dealing in percents here, that is a 0.6666 sell-through rate. Because 3 divided by 450 is 0.006666 repeating. Not 0.1%, it was low, but that's because I have a lot of sports cards listed, a lot of base cards, and the sell-through rate on those is extremely low. Somebody around here? Blake wanted to stop and say I haven't seen you in months going through a liquidation truck. I got on Friday. Ready for eBay. Good to see you, bro. Yeah, you know, I didn't buy. I bought like 2 pallets during all the lockdowns. Unfortunately, I did a lot of like buyouts of like of people's personal belongings. So there's shit everywhere here. It should be gone in a few days. But then I'll start buying truckloads again. Not truckloads. I'll just buy like 4 or 5 pallets. Michelle says, I have pocket cash for used books. I give myself so much money I can spend, but most of the time I buy books cherry picking at 10 to 25 cents. What are eBay selling fees? Signing up right now. Good job, Andy. Just as a general rule of thumb, and it's going to vary based on category, based on the kind of store you have, if you have a store. I like to factor in 12% for eBay fees. You know, if you want to be really, say 15% if you want to be really conservative. Because I think they actually are. Didn't eBay change eBay seller fees 15%? Did they change that recently? I don't even remember. I have a store, and it's 12%. eBay charges a 10% final value fee on the entire transaction, and maybe there's a 2.5% processing fee or a 2% processing fee. I actually have this pulled up right now, but that's a very old. That's a very old comment. eBay fees to rise again to 15%. I'm trying to find one from 2021, but it's hard to find them. Understanding eBay fees 2021 Big Commerce article. Yeah, you know, I'll just link to this if you want to read it. It depends on the way you're selling. Be a lot of things. Let's see, where were we? I pay for my gas and use Stride anytime I go anywhere to complete used books. So when I go to thrift stores or drop off boxes to send to Amazon, etc. Andy says store fees are different. How do I get a store? It's all new to me. Better than me. I don't know the details of this. I did it one time to get my store a long time ago. But as you go to eBay, they're going to walk you through the benefits of all of that stuff. I think eBay's website is very good about offering information about what they provide and the benefits and everything. What kind of ROI do you have to have when you do personal buyouts? I'm paying like $100 for like $10,000 of inventory. There's no ROI, doesn't even come into the equation because it's like hoarders and that kind of stuff. And I'm taking all of their stuff and most of it gets thrown away. So it's not even a question of ROI. It's a question of like, basically they'd have to pay someone to remove this stuff as opposed to me giving them $100 to take it off their hands. Rocky Mountain Resell says maybe that. Oh yeah, so it's not necessarily. I mean, yeah, I'm not really. I'm not taking into account what it's going to sell for, because it's always just like the sweat equity is far more than the actual buy cost. This is a great live today. I got pirate ship from here. Love your live, and I followed you. Well, thank you. If you're looking for stores in your area, make a list of all of them, and then systematically go to all of them. Note the distant amount of books, good books, etc. Yeah, you certainly want to keep track of where you go. On my area, there's about 90 thrift stores within like 45 miles, and I go to about 8 routinely. Although I haven't been to a thrift store in like a month, because the backlog is just so intense here. I can't justify buying more stuff. It's just not, it's fun, but it's bad. Do you actively look for personal buyouts, or do people just naturally end up finding you? It's usually like someone recommends me because they know I do this. Again, space is my biggest limitation, and organization, and my own personal limit of like how much I want to do. The whole plan was to buy my own warehouse this year, but houses are going for like $30,000 over asking price. People are waiving inspections, and I'm a very conservative financial person like that, and I'm not willing to take that risk. Hey, we are at 76 minutes. We have 82 thumbs up. Let's get some more thumbs up going. Let's see if we can hit 90. 90 would be a great benchmark, because 90 is almost 100. And 100 thumbs up means absolutely nothing. But it is cool to hit. It is a cool thing to do. I can answer any questions you guys have. I can talk about more things too. If you want me to just talk about a topic, I can certainly do that. We had kind of a fun time breaking down just exactly, how much you have to list and sell to make 60 grand a year. It's about, I think you probably have to have about $7,500 to start off that. So let's say, your average buy cost is $10, average shipping cost is $10, and your average sale price has to be about $65. 10, 65. That's a good rule of thumb, isn't it? Oh my God, yes, the housing market is skyrocketing, and it will suddenly burst in the next few years or earlier. So what I've noticed is kind of interesting about the housing market is the reason it's not skyrocketing, right? The listing cost of the list price is not skyrocketing. It's the actual purchase price that's skyrocketing. So to me, I think that this kind of signals that it's not going to crash. I think the price of wood will go down. I think the overall cost of houses will go down. But because we're still seeing houses being, what's the word? When the bank tells you how much the house is worth. What is that called? Whatever that word is, it's a very appraisal. Because the appraisal value of houses seems to be increasing at a 2% rate. And now obviously there are markets that are totally crazy. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about the 90% of America that's not in an extremely sought-after place. From what I can tell from talking to realtors and reading things and just keeping in touch with it, is that the expected 2% increase on housing prices of the appraisal value is not that's being adhered to. And so what's out of whack is people's desire to pay so much more for it. And that could be because it costs so much to build new houses right now. That could be because people want to leave urban areas and go to more rural or suburban areas. That could be because the economy has kind of been a bit inflated. I think we're at like 2.5% inflation when I saw that last month. Could be that as well. I don't know. I don't think anyone knows. But these are all things that I think we should be taking into account, certainly. Michelle says, around here, the price of houses have gone up more than 60%. And everywhere else, it's been 6% or less. Yeah, that's crazy. Where are you, Michelle? You told me earlier in the chat, but I forgot. Where the hell are our houses up 60%? Are you in, like, the Pacific Northwest? like Texas, maybe like suburban Austin, Texas, or suburban Dallas, maybe. I don't know where that would be, but I'm very curious to hear. A common thing people do is they'll blame Maryland. Okay, you're in Maryland. Really? 60% up in Maryland. Yeah, that does suck. In the boonies. Okay, so are you like Eastern Maryland? That makes sense. That does, I guess, is a bit more. I mean, it sucks. I'm not saying it's right, but people are the lockdown. So many people were just disgusted with the way those were handled that they wanted to be away from any kind of urban area that can just halt your life immediately. The housing market in southeastern Florida is insane. A lot of New Yorkers moving here. Interesting. Yeah, houses prices in Connecticut are crazy. People can't find houses for sale. A lot are paying cash and such. I'm going to wait this out. Me too. Me too. You know, it's the kind of thing where just like, damn. Damn, 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 damn. You know? I would have wished that things were different. But you can't, you can only deal with the cards you're dealt. So you're probably like me. I'm just going to, the issue is where I live, all the rentals are terrible because it's based around the colleges. And so like all the rentals are like 4-bedroom, 4-bath. There's not any like 2-bedroom, 2-bath rentals that are like, just have nicer appliances. They're all trying to cram as many bedrooms into as much square footage as possible. And the houses are all being sold. There's not many houses for rent. Some are paying $50K over asking in Austin. Yeah, it's pretty generally like 10% over asking price seems to be like a national average. The used car market is similar. I have not seen that. I tried to sell 2 of my cars. I just sold them for parts, just junk parts, because the amount of people, the caliber of buyer who wants to buy a used car for $1,000, they're just crappy people, and they don't show up, and they're unreliable. So I said, you know what? I don't want to deal with this. I'll just sell them for $500 a piece and be done with it. Even though California seems to be deteriorating with increased taxes, etc., housing prices are increasing 15 to 10% a year. It's insane. I think that means that it's not deteriorating. I think that whole line about, people are leaving California, they are, but it's not nearly enough to offset the cost of living. So in my opinion, that's not deterioration. That's just a slower rate of growth. There is a house that's been going for $20,000 for years. That's junk. They pulled it, put it back on the market, sold for $100K. It's not worth that. It's happening a lot. Oh, yeah. You're hearing about a lot of bad buys, to be quite honest. I think. My personal opinion is that they're not going to be, they're going to be people who end up being underwater in their mortgage in 4 or 5 years. The chip shortage is causing the used car market to spike. Interesting. Again, I have not seen that, but you guys sound more knowledgeable than me. So is it like chips? Like, is it because they're not having a hard time? They're having a hard time mining them, or is it global trade has been so slowed down? I haven't heard about that, but yeah, the chip shortage for the newer cars, very interesting. I had no clue, no clue at all. What kind of cars are being affected? It can't be like a Mustang V8s are crazy expensive used right now. That is so interesting. Because as someone personally who doesn't give a shit about cars, I think the fact that people are so picky in the kind of used car they want to buy, that's interesting to me. Because I'm still seeing like a 2008 Camry sells for like $2,000 in Michigan, and like to me like that's a used car, like a car with like 120,000 miles that you can just like drive them to the ground. Like that's the kind of cars that I have always, with the exception of my current car, like that's the cars that I bought when I was younger because I just didn't give a shit and I didn't want to pay more than $1,000 a year to own the thing. Yvette says, live in a 30,000 population town in Iowa. Homes are gone within a few days. Our town was on the news for offering people $10,000 to move here and do new construction on homes. Interesting. Yeah, the price of lumber, last I checked, it was like 8 times what it was last year. or two, maybe a year and a half ago. Yeah, those are the real used cars. Lightly used newer cars are getting to not be worth it, almost better off buying brand new. Yeah, I don't understand I mean, I don't know a lot about cars, so I could be wrong, but the idea of me paying like 60% of the new car price on a $35,000 car just seems absolutely insane, because they're cars. They get you from here to there. And as long as they're reliable, I don't understand that. But you know what? People have their interests. That's why the human species is so prodigious. We have a diversity of interests, and that makes for a lot of different kinds of circumstances that you can exploit or, fail in. You have great insights into finances, trends, projections, etc. in general. You should start a 5th channel related to finance. I don't have enough money to do that. I feel like you have to be like, you got to have $1 million in the bank to be taken seriously. You don't have to be taken seriously. All you have to have is high production value. But you're right. I should. I care too much about being someone who does what I talk about, where I need to relinquish that burden and just make content, baby. I bought a 2-year-old car to let the mass depreciation be gone, but still be newer. I have less than a year to pay, and I cannot save up for an emergency fund for a new car. Again, I don't know enough about cars to tell you what to do, Michelle. I don't know if that's good or bad. I mean, I honestly, from the way I think about it, if you're trying to save money, it always makes sense to buy like a cheap car that is going to run well. So what I've done is I go to the mechanics that I trust, like the ones across the street from me. I trust those guys, and I say, I show them the car, and they say, yeah, this looks fine to me. There's no leaking oil, there's no whatever, and I'll buy it for as cheap as I can get, because the way I look at it, I'm going to drive between like 20,000, we'll say 20,000 miles a year, give or take 5,000. If I buy a car with 100,000 miles on it, I'll get 4 or 5 good years out of it. So if I'm paying, $5,000 for that car, that's an extremely low cost of ownership. I drive Subarus, and I have a Mazda now, but I've almost been exclusively a Subaru driver, because really, in my experience, again, this is all just me talking to you. If you have a Subaru, an older Subaru, a late 2000s model, and you get the timing belt change, and you make sure it gets oil changed, and you make sure you do all the routine stuff, you're going to be able to drive that car until it hits 200,000 miles pretty reliably. Just in my personal experience as someone who's owned, at this point, 3 Subarus, and I have a dozen friends who've owned Subarus. My brothers have all owned Subarus. The issue you run into is when you're a dumbass and don't get the oil changed, then they break. But beyond that, that's my personal take on like how to save money buying cars. I have a 2006 GMC Envoy that I've had for years, 200,000 miles in it, and it still runs like a trooper. I had my last car for 15 years, LOL, so this vehicle I will have for another 10 or so, I hope. Yeah, it's, I know that certain areas you live in are going to have more stringent requirements about the emissions and whatnot. But I mean, pretty soon, in the next decade or so, I'd assume most used cars are going to be electronic, right? Is that wrong to say? When you have it paid for, get Auto Shield, says Frank Crumley. That sounds like, I always was under the impression that those car warranties were a scam. Because, like, all insurance is a scam, more or less. Because they're making money. And so it's much more advantageous to just take care of your car than to invest in a car warranty. Because in the long run, it's always going to cost less to be the kind of person who has relationships with a mechanic and has routine maintenance than rely on an auto warranty. That's just me doing like basic math. I don't know. Again, I'm out of my zone here. I'm just using common sense. But if I'm wrong, please feel free to correct me. Frank says, I'm waiting on my electric flying car. Yeah, right? Can you imagine the issues you might run into with flying cars? I mean, the beauty of vehicles now is they're all ground based, and so we're always going to have one portion of the car fixed to the ground. So you're only really, you know, limited to essentially two directions of movement, either back, forth, or left, right. But if you've got a car in the sky, you've got 360 degrees every which way of motion. And you'd have to have some way to like, all right, cars, they only stay parallel to the ground. They only do that. That'd be like the new seat belt would be like your car oscillator or whatever it is. A 2001 Ford Taurus, says Gabby. That's a real trooper. That 2001 Ford Taurus, probably older than some of the viewers here. Michelle says, take the money that you would for an auto warranty and save it. If the car doesn't get you to point A to point B, then get another vehicle that can get you there. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how much they even cost. Rocky Mountain Resale says, advantageous, good word choice. Gabby says, still runs. Hell yeah, I love to hear it. Jesse says, do you pay $40 a month to sell on the Amazon seller app? I do. I have a professional account. You don't have to have that. Now, if you're making less than 40 sales a day, it makes more sense to do the individual account, right? Because you're paying 99 cents per sale. But as soon as you make more than 40 sales a month, financially, it makes no sense to do the individual seller account. I would argue that it makes more sense to do the pro account from the get-go because you can do, I forget what things you can do different, but it gives you more benefits than an individual account. But obviously, if you're just starting and you want to be a bit more cautious, just ease into it with the individual. It's kind of shady, I guess you might say, because you have to like downgrade. You have to initially get the $40 a month and then downgrade to $1 an individual listing. But I think it's still fine. You can't get the buy box if you're an individual account, says Doyle Warehouse. Is that true? Can individual accounts on Amazon get the buy box? Individual or basic seller accounts are not eligible. Coming in with the truth is Doyle Warehouse. So right there is reason to do a pro account. I would say definitely go pro now that I learned that. I've literally never had an individual account. It's always been a pro account for, the decade I've been on Amazon. Less than that. But I mean, for the years I've been on Amazon. So I don't know. All right, we have 70 viewers and 107 thumbs up. We have just passed the hour and a half mark. We're at 93 minutes. Wow, going long today. What do you guys think? Should we keep going, or should we call it quits? It's up to you. If you have more things to talk about, I would love to continue offering advice and insight. But if you got to get back to work, well, heck, so do I, because I still do run a business. And I can't just be on YouTube all day talking about flying cars and whatnot and the real estate market. Rocky Mountain Resale says that's enough reason to have a pro account out the gate. Julie's driving a 2004 Toyota Matrix with 208,000 miles. Nice. Doyle says can't use some programs like Scoutify or Inventory Lab with an individual account either. Gabby says, how'd you know I have work to do? Because we all got work to do. Michelle says, increased customer demand has led to higher return volumes and longer processing times. As a result, effective January 17th, yikes, the reimbursement claim window for all customer returns will be 45 to 60 days. Ugh. Is that, man, eBay, or is that eBay or Amazon? Sounds like Amazon wording to me. Amazon is getting worse and worse for sellers, man, I tell you. What's up with eBay removing specifics in our store and changing the category without informing the seller, asks Frank. Sounds like a glitch to me. Have you ever sourced video games from stores like Game Exchange? I have bought them from pawn shops, but only like once or twice. Yeah, that's on Amazon, says Michelle. Sounds like Amazon wording. I said this in the video a few weeks ago. Amazon's trying to push out third-party sellers, specifically those who sell used items. They want it to be on eBay only. You know, that means that we're going to see more businesses offering services for eBay sellers, so that's nice. But all in all, it is not a trend that I am eager to occur, but I will take advantage of it, and I will offer advice that I learned to you guys because that is the point, isn't it? That's the point, huh? All right, guys. I'm going to get out of here. We are almost at 100 minutes. Very, very long video. I appreciate everyone viewing. One last call for thumbs up. Hit the bell icon for notifications to see me when I go live next time. I'll be live next Wednesday at noon, and I believe on Friday I'll have a video airing about Dollar Tree retail arbitrage. So again, check back on Friday. Go back and watch my What Sold video. Sorry, just got here. Can you start from the top? Oh yeah, moving to the gov mandated reporting sellers just like eBay. Have a good day, Blake. Thanks for the motivation. Thank you all for watching. You can rewatch the video. It's going to be posted live. You can watch my video I posted yesterday about all the things I sold over the weekend on eBay. That's a very informative video. And I will see you guys later. And I haven't said it in a while, but don't be